right, hi y'all. Welcome back to part three of Like Mother Like Daughter card game. We're just gonna get right into it. Since we were,
Good.
we a third round in, I'm pretty sure everybody knows what it's about. Um, so we're gonna be asking each other some very thought-provoking questions that relates to our relationship, mother-daughter relationship. Just a quick little thing. So I went first last time. You can go ahead and go first
Okay.
this time.
So I selected this question right after our last
Mm,
conversation.
mm-hmm.
And you asked me about something about my mother and emotions.
Yes.
So my question is, what do I owe you as a mother? Was there any emotional deficit that needs repayment?
Um, you know, you weren't emotionally unavailable as a parent. You were definitely there. Um, so I can I say I'm not sure how to answer it just yet. I might have to think about this a little bit more, but
Okay.
off the bat, right now, I can't necessarily think of anything as far as like a debt or
Mm-hmm.
anything like that. I think my main thing growing up was kind of just, I guess, going against the grain of like whatever your forthcoming will was.
Mm-hmm.
For me, and it's not like it was bad. I just feel like it became, maybe overbearing or um trying to find the words like
Intense.
yeah, intense. Um, yeah, to the point where if it felt like I had to, bend to that to kind of like get by. Um, and sometimes it make me feel like, oh, when I would meet people. There's been times where I've had like thoughts about some people that like I either was cool with or friends with. And I'm like, you know what? If I was like that, my mom would love that. If I was into the same stuff as this person was into, if they were all, like I feel like
Mm-hmm.
if I was more like them, like, she would just love that. I feel like I would get by better with the family. Now, in hindsight, me being me was not didn't create a battle with me and my family. I just kind of feel like there might have been um maybe I don't even know. Maybe it's just me in my head that there was just some ideal that I
Mm-hmm.
could have turned out like that I wasn't, from my personality to my interest to the career path. I don't know, whatever. So it's kind of more of a covert thing than an overt thing, if that makes sense. And for anybody who doesn't know what that means, it's kind of more like covert is more like not so in your face,
Mm-hmm.
is more like underlying, and then
Mm-hmm.
overt is more in your face. I didn't have none of that. You know what I'm saying? I know there's a lot of black sheeps out there that literally have that kind of thing with their family. That wasn't quite me. I just have felt like whatever standard that there was, I wasn't fully meeting it.
Okay.
And so I guess grace would be good. But I think now, since I'm so much older, I don't know how much is really old for real. But
Yeah,
hmm.
I guess I was the emotional deficit. I don't know. Um, Yeah, I don't know. And I get this, it's kind of reminding me of um the first question that you answered.
Mm,
And when you said, understand my communication style, it's not
hmm.
kind of the same, but it's similar, where you just saying, accept me for the person that I am, and maybe you felt like I had a vision of how I wanted you to be. And that's what I pushed that vision.
Right.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah, and I'm not like, you know, a good majority of my life thus far has been a big old hunk of it has been my adolescence, and I'm just now getting real into the thick of adulthood. You know what I mean? Like I'm not an early adult,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? But so I've had quite some time in my adulthood, but it's there's still a big old hunk of my life has been like not that, just like baby, teenager, kid, whatever, did it in a really interesting order. But so a lot of the base stuff has a lot to do with that. Um, because the compilation of issues then started to happen like once I got older, you know what I mean? But yeah. So I hopefully I answered the question. I don't know. I
Yeah,
feel
you
like that.
did.
Okay. All right. Oh, well, keep it moving then. I'll just go ahead and because I don't want to keep spinning the wheel here. Thinking about the last question. If you could parent me all over again, what would you change? That might have been a more loaded question than I thought.
Yeah, had to take a deep breath and think about it. And this goes back to last week. I think I definitely would have had more patience. And I think I might have shared this before. I think, I mean, towards you. I might have shared this with you. But I think part of my parenting was my own anxiety, or my own um, belief about what was required in the world to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
And there there was there is, according to the world, this particular standard that I was trying to meet, wanted to make sure you met it and all that. Um, so it was my anxiety and my insecurity that played into that. Um, so, but then I'll be honest, on the other hand, this is the conflict I had back then. On the other hand, understanding, like, am I um there does need to be a particular standard, or you do want a you know, just finding that sweet spot or whatever. So I know with your sister, and not necessarily your sister, but what I'm gaining a lot from this, um, being a grandparent, right, to um a grandson that has a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Um, but I think not stressing as much, and not worrying so much about, if you didn't have this I dotted or this T cross, that it would, what it would mean, you know. So hopefully that
Mm.
helps. I kind of want, I was thinking today, like before we did this, what are what people are getting from the conversation. So I hope that you would share some feedback in the comments about how this might be helping you in some way. One thing's for sure, I think that Sydney realizes now is that motives were always pure. Motives were always pure. Um, so anyway, hopefully, I am learning how to be a better grandparent. I'll say that much. And even still, because even as adults, trying not to push my opinion um on you or your sister. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, allow you to breathe.
Yeah.
And be you.
I
So, hopefully this conversation was helpful.
yeah, I had thought of something
Mm-hmm.
um when you were talking about whatever insecurities you had.
Mm-hmm.
Um, do you want to kind of expound on what they were? I had a thought about what you have talked about before about not on anything that we've recorded, but just conversations around like how you felt about yourself as a student, or in life. Like, did you feel like,
Well, as a student, I never felt that well, as a student, I could do well when I wanted to. I just was never focused. Until, you know, college, grad school, life after as an adult.
yeah,
Um, and it wasn't difficult for me. I'm a um good test taker and all that kind of thing. Um, but yeah, I know that I feel like I wasted some of my years, educational years. Anyway, I did have a vision. My vision was that you would be a straight A student. And I think I pushed hard to make you that. But of course, we learn and we grow, and people are a genius in other areas. And not that you couldn't make A's and B's, you did. But that was the standard that I was going by. That was the standard that the world had put out. And that was a standard that I didn't meet. I feel like I could have met, but I just didn't put the effort. So,
mm-hmm.
I grew up, became a big girl and a mom. So that's what I wanted from you.
Go ahead, finish. What was you gonna say?
I'm done.
And like you were saying earlier about your intentions and stuff like that. That's just everything okay and good with wanting your child to achieve like that and want me to achieve in that way too. You can just kind of see how, a bit of that started to come up because I know there's some whatever. I don't know. I'll speak to myself. I wasn't somebody who was kind of easily tamed in my output. Maybe I was obedient in doing stuff, but the output wasn't always what, the expectation was. So like, okay, all right, I might be up looking, studying, going through my stuff, and I still get a C. So it's just like I'll be doing, some of the things that was meant to be done, but I still wouldn't, the output wouldn't always be what the expectation was. And that's the thing that I think, I don't know, maybe there's a thing, cosmic thing God wanted us to learn and all that, or you, I don't, or I, or just other people, because it's just like there's something got to give, you got the intention, that's good. Then you got the application of it, trying to get your child to be whatever. They got their own makeup, and then there's this result of that kind of thing. So
I guess I'll use this as an example. It's all of that wasn't necessary. It all wasn't as serious as I made it out to be. And
yeah,
I'll use the example, go real young, like with potty training. Oh, the average age that a girl or a boy is potty trained here. And then say they take a little bit longer, and then the parent is, oh my God, what's going on? They're not potty trained. And I can sit here today, it's like, relax. They won't be in kindergarten. They won't be in first grade wearing a diaper. Of course, all things um being normal, no disability or delays or anything like that. The average kid is not going to be um
yeah,
in kindergarten uh wearing a diaper. You can relax, you can chill, you can um just know that they're going to get there in their own time, and you just have to be calm and patient.
yeah,
So I think it was the same way with school. Oh, you have to meet this marker, you have to do this, you have to do that. And I think that is prevalent today still, and a lot of pressure on uh children and parents put on themselves. So hopefully,
yeah.
we can learn from our experience.
Yeah, for sure. Because like in the last episode I had mentioned, or I don't know, one of them questions I had, it had started off saying that I didn't feel like I was enough, and
Mm-hmm.
that settled
Mm-hmm.
with me. It felt like I went a good portion of my life feeling like something was wrong with me, that I wasn't normal, that I had to hyper fixate and, have like hypervigilance for what was normal so I could fit in it. And, you know, just feeling like, just like, I don't know, something was wrong with me and I wasn't enough and I needed to fit into something. But then I started to get rebellious because it's like, I ain't fitting into this. Like, this ain't even who I am. I learn different, I think different, and then that's kind of where a lot of that clashing started to happen between us. So I think this card game is pretty good as giving you kind of a prelude into how things had developed between us over time. But hopefully, like my mom said, that y'all got something good from this. As you can see, this is very thought provoking, you know what I mean? We get to talk in these short clips, not clips, just these short little videos we do, but these things resonate and vibrate within us throughout the day and onward, and we get to reflect a little bit more. And um this is not a promo for these cars, but they are very good. um for just having conversations. So we encourage y'all to have conversations as well. And even if it's not with, someone else yet, maybe with yourself and God, get started with where some of these things lie and get your heart ready for healing.
And that's what I was going to say. I know that even though it was painful, a lot of it, and even though, well, I don't know, but I'll say this. Um, all things work together for the good. And I know I had a supervisor one time that had very, very high expectations of me
Mm.
that I didn't feel that I could reach no matter what I did. And it was a period where I was stressed out and,
Mm.
losing hair and the whole nine. But then it did develop something in me, the a work ethic. And it then beyond that, there was no one that I could work for that could make me feel a certain kind of way because I had already been there, done through that. So I developed some thick skin, and I developed some skill, even though I would have liked to have gotten there in a different ways. But God worked it out. And I can't remember, I won't call any names, but you know, the young lady we met at the art studio, and she talked about, somebody that she saw often. And we were working, and one day, and I'm not making excuses or anything or trying to make it any kind of way. But one day, I think we might have been in the midst of whatever, and I was talking to him and feeling bad, and he said, you know, maybe some of what you did, you wouldn't be as maybe you wouldn't be as good as you are without some of that happened. So I'm not saying that abuse or anything like that is I'm not excusing or anything like that, but I'm saying, yeah, some of that might have helped. That's all I'm saying.
You you saying what happened between us helped me somehow?
I'm saying having standards and being on you, well, while there was some negative impact, it might have helped with training. And I used the example of my boss,
Oh
who
yeah.
was very hard. And like I said, I would have gotten there another way, but I did, develop some skills. And, now that I'm saying it, yeah.
I agree with
Anyway.
that. I do. I actually do agree with that. I remember having a conversation with one of my old friends some time ago about the things we, got from our parents when, they put the discipline on us. And I remember when I started looking for jobs, and this is when, people were filling out paper. Like, I don't know, this is like late 2000s. You could do paper applications or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not about to do a whole story. I'm just saying, like, at the time, I would fill out an application for, like, I don't know, Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, I don't know, whatever, and Wendy's, and then you be like, all right, let me look at it. And then she looked through it and then mark it all up and be like, no, that's, you don't write that here, you write this, da, 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 da. Now, at the time, you was somebody who was interviewing people, so you had a very keen sense of what would sound good, like how to write stuff. And I was happy about that because every times where, even though sometimes we get on, I'm like, dang, I done refilled this out like 3, 4 times already. I ain't get it right yet.
It's
And
just Wendy's.
and I would think to myself, not somewhere, oh, it's just Wendy's, but like, dang, I ain't get this right yet. You know what I mean? But then there was a part of me was like, dang, like, I got this. You know what I mean? I got somebody who knows like how to say this stuff. Like, there's people out there who don't have, somebody who would even do this with them, or let alone even know to write certain things or a certain way or something like that. Not to say they uneducated or anything like that. It's just, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is like good advice. So I took it as like, even though this is a bit annoying, I keep having to write this over with, and it's a little daunting looking at red markings all scribbles all over my stuff, but it's training me to know how to go about the interview process and stuff like that. And so, yes, something like that is a good example. And yes, because of that, I've always had standards for myself and a work ethic. And I don't think I would have not had one without some of the harshness and stuff like that. But because you and dad just happen to be hard workers innately, so I feel like that's just in me in general. But it did help a lot, so I can agree to that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. It's good to have standards, but love and patience. Oh, love and patience and all that good stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I always say, let's not go too deep and try to keep it short, but it's, this is what it does. It provokes conversation. So, hopefully you enjoyed and received something from it.
Yes, yes. And until next time, look out for part 4 because we're gonna keep going with these cards. And hopefully this has blessed you and inspired you to get your heart soft for healing. Or at least, just some kind of, I don't know, whatever, something.
And share it with somebody
Yeah, yeah.
that you might think would benefit from it.
All right, we out of here.
All right.
See ya.
Bye-bye.